ESPN Radio Stevensville and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. It's time for Montana's only daily sports talk show, Nuanez Now. Watch the show statewide on SWX Montana Television.
I like football!
Now here's your host, Coulter Nuanez.
Yo, what's up, Montana? Welcome in. 102.9 ESPN Radio. Coulter Nuanez coming to you live from Nashville, Tennessee. Abbreviated show today, just an hour here as we lead up to the FCS National Championship game. Kicks off at 5:30, so we're just going from 4 to 5 today. We'll have full reaction during tomorrow's show. I rode to Nashville to get us down here. Could have done it without our great friends at Town & Country Foods, Blackfoot Communications, as well as Bob Ward Sports and Outdoors. And we'll have a full Montana football hour for you here coming up with Samuel Kim, former Grizz football player, talking about the national championship game and some of the transition that the Grizz are going through currently. We'll also hear from Mike Ryder, former Bobcat football player and coach, what he thinks some of the keys to the game is. We'll also hear from Kelly Davis, a Butte native who was on the 1984 national championship team. Plenty of memories from him, but also plenty of insight into what he thinks might go down tonight. And I'll give you my 5 keys to the game as well to take you right up to kickoff. Road to Nashville continues here on 102.9 ESPN Radio. Road to Nashville continues here on the Montana Football Hour. 102.9 ESPN Radio. You can always stream us, 1029ESPN.com, as well as the ESPN MT app, as well as Facebook and Twitch. Samuel Kim sitting in the chair now, former Grizz wide receiver. What's up, man? Good to see you. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, man. Big day.
Big day. See if the Big Sky can snap their national championships drought. It's been since 2010, and the Big Sky only has 2 national championships in the last 25 years. Start there. What do you make of that? Because, I mean, it's been the Big Sky and the Missouri Valley, but the Missouri Valley has, 12 national championships over the last 25 years, and the Big Sky only has 2. So, big day for the league in general.
Yeah, it's a big day, and although I'm a Grizz, like you mentioned, the Big Sky needs one, man. The Big Sky needs one really, really bad, and this is the best opportunity I think the conference has had since 2010. You know, there's been some juggernauts in the FCS. Obviously, North Dakota State got knocked off, but this is the year it feels right, and we're going to see later tonight.
Well, you and I watched North Dakota State quite a bit together this year, yep. And we were thinking coming out of that late October game against South Dakota State, oh, wow, Bison are back in a big way. Nobody's beating that team.
Yep.
This Illinois State team is the team that beat North Dakota State. That was several weeks ago, but certainly that was the upset of the bracket so far.
Yep.
How much does that impact the mentality of this Illinois State team? I mean, do you feel like they should be probably riding pretty high, being they're the ones that replaced the 1 seed?
Absolutely. And I said this like a week ago, like, if I'm Illinois State, I'm coming in this game thinking, we beat the number 1 team. We beat the best team. We beat the team that the consensus was that nobody was going to beat this team. This is the best team. We're going up against the second best team. And, you know, I don't know. They play similar styles of football. If I'm Illinois State, I'm extremely confident. Extremely confident.
What are the key factors for Illinois State in this game? Like, what do you think that they should be the most confident about? Is it the hot streak that Tommy Rittenhouse, the quarterback's on? Is it Daniel Sopkowitz and his mismatch on the outside? What are the things you lean into matchup-wise if you're the Redbirds?
If I'm the Redbirds, I lean into the fact that our defense has been playing phenomenal football. Sopkowitz, it's impossible not to be confident in what he's able to do in this game. He's been extremely, extremely explosive all playoffs long. So I think from the Sopkowitz standpoint, and then your run game has been something you can lean on as well. Victor Dawson's been playing phenomenal football. So I think from all facets, on the defensive side, in your run game, and then in your star receiver, you got a ton of confidence. You know that those guys are going to show up for sure.
Sapkowitz is a different. He's more of a throwback style receiver. We used to see guys like Sapkowitz a lot in the Big Sky Conference. The obvious comp is Cooper Kupp. He's not Cooper Kupp. Nobody's Cooper Kupp.
I feel like he's more Emmanuel Butler.
Emmanuel Butler's a good one. Brandon Kaufman was a receiver at Eastern Washington before Cooper Kupp. That was sort of similar build, like 6'3", big body. Maybe not the fastest guy, but good jumping ability, all that. Montana State hasn't really seen a guy like that, though.
No.
I guess Michael Shulikov from Idaho State,
the closest,
is kind of like that. He's a high jumper. But what do you think of just that matchup? Well, Montana State, their corners have been great this year, but they haven't really gone against guys that can catch the back shoulder fade and guys that have sort of this size and this red zone ability.
I think it's a matchup that should and will get the attention of Montana State. Something that's been talked about a lot is the youth of the Montana State corners.
Yep.
And like you mentioned, they have not seen a matchup like this. There's no really receiver outside of Shulikov in the Big Sky Conference that really presents this type of matchup. And even as good as Shulikov is, I would say he's not as good as Sapkowitz. So it's an extreme challenge and one that I'm excited to see. That's a big matchup for me in this game is Sapkowitz versus those defensive backs.
Montana Football Hour here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Samuel and Kim joining me, Colter Nuanez. It is proudly presented by Ryan Miller and Coburn. Ryan Miller and Coburn Law added Abigail Coburn to the fold in 2025. Paul Ryan and Angie Miller thrilled to welcome a third partner to the top-rated law firm in Western Montana. Ryan Miller and Coburn, you're experts in all forms of criminal defense, whether it's medical malpractice, wrongful death, DUI, or personal injury. Call them anytime, 406-542-2233. Or visit online, rmcattorneys.com. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys. Both quarterbacks have played outstanding all year long, but specifically down the stretch. Rittenhouse from Illinois State actually overcame his blow-up game against North Dakota State.
Right.
They still somehow won. He threw 5 picks in that game. It's crazy that they were able to move on in that game despite all those turnovers. But Justin Lamson's just been Mr. Steady. Quarterback's always going to be important in big games like this, but what do you just think of just the matchup here? Who do you think has the better quarterback coming in this game?
I think Montana State has the better quarterback. But what I'll say about both quarterbacks is when you think about the way they've gotten things done, the way I would describe Justin Lamson is he is a gamer.
Yes.
Which is like whatever the game calls for, whether he needs to run, whether he needs to make a throw, whether he just needs to be the steadying force, he is going to be that. I see Tommy Rittenhouse as the same. So the way I see this matchup of quarterbacks is that's another big matchup for me, although the quarterbacks don't play against each other.
Sure.
Which gamer will have will game better? I don't know how exactly how to say that, but who will be able to make the bigger
rise to the occasion?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly. I think both of them have the ability to do that. My thing, I give Justin Lamson the edge because Tommy Rittenhouse, although he went and won in Fargo, there's no environment like Montana. Going in Montana,
right.
Washington Grizzly Stadium, and winning on the road.
Right, and Lamson did that, and he did it with poise and confidence.
2 incompletions.
Right.
He showed up in the biggest moments, and then even although they were at home, that Montana State environment for the Brawl 2.0 was an incredible environment. My thing is, how will Tommy Rittenhouse show up in an environment that is rabid? There's going to be, I would say, a vast majority of Montana State fans in the stadium.
Yep.
And how will you answer that call? If he's able to answer it, I think we can see a really good game. But if he fails under pressure, I don't know. It may be a long day for the Redbirds.
We haven't seen Lamson is all of the things you'd say about a quarterback except like a gunslinger because he doesn't really take a ton of risks.
No.
Rittenhouse is a gunslinger.
Yes.
Rittenhouse will definitely take some risks.
That's why he threw 5 picks.
Totally. And I'm just so interested in that element of it because the thing that's gotten Illinois State here is the fact that Rittenhouse has not been scared. Nope. He's throwing the ball down the field. He's looked for his big receiver. He's thrown 8 touchdowns to Sapkowitz alone in these playoffs. I'm just wondering if the risk-taking continues today. I think you have to, as a double-digit underdog, if you're Illinois State, I think you have to.
Yep.
If you can get away with it, that's going to be the thing that's going to help Illinois State compete in this game on Monday night. If you don't, though, all of a sudden you might be up against it. You might get avalanched.
Yeah, you might get avalanched. I think he's going to have to take shots. But that's also a facet of that's why this matchup is so interesting because that's a facet of the Montana State defenses. As you know, they don't allow the big play.
Right.
So I could see a world where he is taking chances. Caden Dowler's in the right place at the right time. Meredith's in the right place. Tate and Gray, all the guys in the secondary. You can get bit if you take too many chances, but I think he's, like you said, he's going to have to. So it'll be interesting to see where they decide to take those shots. I think from the Illinois State standpoint also, they're going to have to go for it on 4th. Maybe some trick plays are going to be needed. Some fake punts are going to be needed. They're going to have to do all those things in order to, come out with this victory, in my opinion.
Samuel Kim joining me, Colter Nuanez, here in Nashville, Tennessee. It's our road to Nashville. It's probably presented in part by Bob Ward Sports and Outdoors. Bob Ward Sports and Outdoors has all sorts of great sales going on. They got Volcom snow pants right now for $84.99. Also 20% off all winter jackets and boots. Best brands, best prices, no hassle shopping, only at Bob Ward's. The battle line of scrimmage is always a big one in football games, and it seems to be one that Montana State always has the advantage in.
Yep.
I think that most of the time, if you're a team that's heavily favored, it's because you have a huge advantage up front.
Yep.
I don't know if Montana State's going to have that big of an advantage up front, though. Like, I think that Illinois State is going to be better up front than a lot of the teams that Montana State beat down the stretch to get to this point.
I'm trying to think of a team that they've seen that has as good of probably a front as what they're going to see.
Yale.
That's what I was going to say, Yale.
That's right. But, I mean, because Montana's great, but Montana does not have great fronts. No. UC Davis is really good. UC Davis has an okay offensive line.
Small.
And they're small. Like, right. Like, the Cats have a definitive advantage in both those. Stephen F. Austin, I thought, had a good defensive front.
Yeah, they were good.
The offensive line maybe didn't match up quite as well with Montana State. But that's been a huge advantage for Montana State, not just this year, but, year in and year out. It's been one of the identities of their program. When they do go against a team that's equally as physical, does that impact the way you operate, you think, on
it does.
Offense and defense?
It does. Although, and I hate using this as an example, but it's the best example we have. You got to go back to South Dakota State. And as we know, their offensive line wasn't set in stone yet. They were still moving pieces around. They were still trying to get things figured out. But a game like that is one where I think of where they struggled up front. They couldn't, get any push. And South Dakota State was really doing a good job on the front lines, both sides of the ball. So that's what Illinois State is going to have to do in a game like this.
Other keys or other matchups you're going to be looking at here this afternoon?
Another big matchup I'm really looking at is the coaching matchup.
Sure. Obviously,
the biggest point I think of when I think about the coaching matchup is the decision that was made by Vegan last year before halftime to not punt it, to go for it on fourth down.
Right.
Those are going to be the big decisions that you look back on, and it's like, well, that was a coaching decision that really cost their team, And coaches, whoever made that decision, whether it was especially the offensive coordinator or whoever, there's going to come a time where Vegan or SPAC both are going to have to make a call, whether it be going for it on fourth down, making a fake punt, calling a fake, whatever it is. Who is going to win that matchup? That's a really, really important matchup in this game, the coaches.
Well, we got you. We got to ask you about some of the moving parts for the University of Montana as well. Sammy covers the Grizz heavily too, and we've seen a lot. We've seen Kaylee Ayat announce he's coming back and staying. Brooks Davis announcing that he's coming back and staying.
Yep.
Micah Harper had a cryptic video this morning. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to find out if he's staying or not. But he basically implied that he's coming back. Yep. That would be an extra year. He was probably using a medical because he got hurt at BYU before he came to Montana. But then you have outgoing Malai Finoti, one of the guys, Caleb Otluski, Deion Wilkinson, Diesel Wilkinson, Keon Loud. Loud announced yesterday he's going to Duke, so he's headed to the ACC. And probably the most impactful, though, Cameron Norcross is the offensive line coach. That's not that new because they've had new offensive line coaches several times in the last couple of years. But Justin Green, as of this morning, headed to Washington State. I guess he actually took the job last week, but we reported it this morning. So your thoughts on the recruiting coordinator for Montana, guy that's been there forever, making his way to Pullman?
I think that's a big hit. When you think about how long he's been here, and then you just think about, he's probably had his hand in building this entire roster.
Oh, definitely.
To some point, to extent, obviously coaches recruit different areas, but Coach Green as the recruiting coordinator, he's probably the main point of contact for most of those guys outside of maybe Keaton. I think that's a big loss. I don't think Norcross is a huge loss just given how much movement they've had at that position. But Coach Green, it's interesting as well because when you think about Eli Gilman, how does that influence him? Obviously, a lot of people expect him to stay, but we haven't really seen anything up from him saying that he is staying definitively. So that's still up in the air. And with Justin Green leaving now, how does that affect that? I think that's the biggest question mark coming into this whole Justin Green taking the Washington State job. But from Justin's standpoint, Coach Green's standpoint, phenomenal for him. We know how much time and how much effort he's put in.
Yeah, happy for Justin.
Super happy for him.
He's a guy I went to school with, and he's been incredibly loyal to the University of Montana. He's been there since 2011, since he retired from the NFL, and he's a great coach, but he's a wonderful guy. He's just an awesome guy, and it's been fun to get to know him. He's a great family. His kids are friends with my brother's kids, and they're great people. So I'm happy for Justin because I think this is what he needed if he wants to take the next step in his career. I'm hearing he's getting a really good pay raise, which is great because
it's probably the biggest thing.
The dude's got 5 kids. He needs it. So but it'll be an interesting challenge. But here's the deal. I think that I know Justin's told me this. and I don't think he'll mind me saying it, his goal in this business is to get to be the head coach of the University of Montana someday.
I mean, who wouldn't want to be there?
Right, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to lead his alma mater, and I think this is a step that helps him.
Yes.
Just, experience something outside of the Montana ecosystem and get some big-time experience at the FBS level. So happy for him. I think it's a great move for him.
Also, I think this puts him closer because obviously to be a head coach, I think the best plan of action is to become a coordinator, and I think him getting the running backs coach job at Washington State is that next step in getting a coordinator job
that's right.
before becoming a head coach somewhere.
Yep, won't be surprised if we see Justin Green back in the fold sometime, but for now, happy trails to him, and best of luck with all of that. All right, give me the number one key of the game tonight here in Nashville, Tennessee.
The trenches. I mean, it's a story as old as time. The team that wins the game in the trenches ultimately, most times, comes out with the victory, and it's really important for both of these teams to dominate in the trenches. We think it's going to be a good matchup, offensive line versus defensive line, but who's going to win that matchup? Who has the better game plan coming in? I lean towards saying Montana State because we just haven't seen a team that's been able to beat them in that matchup, but that's my biggest key is the trenches. Who's going to win that game?
Samuel Kim here on Nuanez Now. We'll keep it rolling. We'll get into it with Mike Ryder right now. It is our road to Nashville as part of the Montana Football Hour. Thanks for chiming in, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's now 129 ESPN Radio, coming to you through the Grizzly Disposal Studio at the Missoula Broadcasting Company. Grizzly Disposal, locally owned, veteran-owned. The only bears that should be in your garbage. We'll roll right in to another one of our analysts, Mike Ryder, here on 102.9 ESPN Missoula. Well, it's now ESPN Radio rolls on here from Nashville, Tennessee, and we're continuing to roll the guests through. We got a big Airbnb here, so I'm making everybody do at least a little bit of work. Mike Ryder, former Bobcat player and coach, joining us now. What's up, man? Welcome to Nashville. Thanks for being here.
Happy to be here, man.
First of all, just your perspective on the scene. You're a former player. You got to see the reunion yesterday. I mean, there's over 250 former Bobcat players there. Pretty cool, pretty crazy. What'd you think of last night?
Yeah, gosh, it was. I was texting my wife yesterday afterwards, just talking about how special it was seeing just so many generations. I mean, even from like my father-in-law played the 70s all the way through. Teammates, some that were a lot older than me. Maybe I spent time as a red shirt, and then actually teammates that you play alongside. And so, seeing them, everybody's just super excited. Everybody's amped up, high expectations, and then connected afterwards, getting a chance to tell stories, same stupid jokes, laugh, have a beer together. It's about as good as it gets as far as a former player and enjoying the time together.
What's the most surprising part about Montana State being back here? And just given the run they've been on, but also the guys they lost from last year's team.
Yeah, I think youth in football is such an interesting thing as far as like an experience, because you do look at it from a roster and all the guys that they lost last year, and they had a solid nucleus coming back, but it's weird because you got guys that haven't necessarily played as much football, given the fact they lost so many. But in some cases, if handled right, it can be a good thing. They almost don't know what they don't know, and so you've seen that show up, particularly in the secondary. You see some of these young guys. They almost don't know better. They know that they don't have a lot of bad habits. They kind of are relying really heavily on their coaches and fundamentals and being in the right position. And so I think it's been interesting just to see just the youth and but yet the development alongside that from week one all the way to now. And so a little bit surprising just seeing them being able to grow throughout the season, rely on some youth, particularly in the secondary, and then in other spots too. But it's a mark of a good program that just develops leaders, and the expectations and the standards never change, but the faces do, and it speaks a lot to the coaches and the development of their young guys.
Mike Ryder here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. It's our Montana Football Hour, probably presented by Ryan Miller and Coburn. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your experts when it comes to all forms of criminal defense. Been an accident that was your fault, call 406-542-2233 or visit rmcattorneys.com. Ryan Miller and Coburn, your Montana attorneys. The recruiting starting to show through too, right? Because that's the thing that's been so striking to me is that all these guys that have been thrown into the fire as young guys, the talent level is very apparent. They haven't even necessarily been through the developmental part that so many of them will go through, because that's what this program, Montana State's program, is all about. But like a guy like Xavier Aarons, he pops immediately. You're like, that's the most talented linebacker. He's not the best linebacker yet, but that's the most talented linebacker. Yep. The DBs, like the freshman kids, you watch Carson Williams, like, well, that guy's the most talented. Jason McMillan, both of them. Those guys are the most talented guys. They don't necessarily know what they're doing quite yet, but they're the most talented guys, and that's just such a testament to their recruiting.
Yeah, I think being in that world, I feel like I just remember having some of these young guys that were really, really talented, and it's almost a good thing because what they do is they really are hungry to be coached. Not that you're not when you're a little bit older, but you're a little bit more tested by fire. You kind of have a little bit of your own rhythms, and you do know what's best based on game reps and have a bunch of banked reps. But you get these young guys in, and they're really, really coachable, and they're gonna eat up everything that you're coaching or you're teaching them as a coach. And so I think you've seen that, and Coach Shepard has done a really good job getting those guys ready. And it'll never change. It's going to always, to some extent, be about the Jimmies and the Joes, and they've done a really good job recruiting talented guys, particularly in the secondary, and the coach and the development has been really fun to see.
Do you think there's a thread there that Brian Shepard played at North Dakota State? He's safeties coach. Brett Vigen played at North Dakota State, coached North Dakota State. A lot of times when you're playing the team, like Vigen, for example, has not coached against Illinois State in 12 years. But it's the same head coach. It's the same sort of identity. So, like, is there a parallel there? Like, do you think Vigen has a little bit of insight more than maybe a normal, non-conference type of crossover game like this?
Yeah, I think there's always something to familiarity. And so, even just the familiarity of seeing a similar logo, a similar style of play. Sure. I mean, Illinois State, Coach Spack, he is who he is, right? He's going to change, from year to year a little bit. For the most part, you kind of know what to expect. That's what's made him so good. He said
that on Monday, too. He said, they were comparing and contrasting the 2014 Illinois State team that went on the run all the way to the national championship, lost to NDSU by 2 points. And he said, that year we had a big back, it got hot in Marshawn Kopech. Now they have the same deal in Vic Dawson. He said, we had a quarterback in Trey Roberson who played his best ball down the stretch as a senior. That's what they got in Tommy Rittenhouse. We had a sweet linebacker who was sideline to sideline. That's what we got in Tiny Camp. So similar formula for Spack over all these years.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, going back to your question about Vigen and some of the overlap and what he's seen, just, the familiarity there, I think it's helpful coaching against a guy and understand some of those things. But ultimately, this is new teams, new identities, new years. And so you got to kind of have that faceless opponent approach. But there is something to just understanding a little bit more about how the other guy on the sideline operates.
One of the big questions of the week, or of the last couple of weeks, I guess, is Caden Dowler, who went out against Montana in the semifinals. He's the Big Sky Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Sounds like he's going to go today. Vigen said that yesterday when we caught up with him at the alumni event. Just your thoughts on him trying to play through what looked like a pretty painful, at least, injury. Yeah,
the shoulders are no fun, and particularly at secondary where he's going to be relied upon to make a lot of tackles in space, especially against a big back like Vic Dawson, and then making plays in the pass game as well. It's notable when he's not in there. Coulter Petrie did an unbelievable job, and he's going to play a lot today. I know he will. They're going to have to, right? Just given the nature of the injury. But having Caden out there, you can tell the difference. Just there's a reason he wears the green dot, and he's the guy's getting lined up and communicating at a really high level. So you can bet that they've walked through those scenarios. They have to. As a coach, you got to plan for, like, hey, here's plan A, but understanding a plan B is probably going to come up if Caden maybe are they spelling him? Is he maybe he's going to go full go, and it's just like go as long as you can. But we've got a plan B after that. I'll be interested to see what that looks like for their plan. But the Bobcats are a better football team, obviously, with him out there from a leadership perspective, getting guys lined up and energy, and then obviously his elite play. He's been unbelievable down the stretch, especially late. So hope to see him finish this game. He makes a huge difference for the defense, there's no doubt.
Nuanez Now 102.9 ESPN Radio, Road to Nashville, probably presented in part by Town & Country Foods. Town & Country Foods proud to support the 2025 Cats on their way to and through Nashville. Town & Country, 100% employee-owned. They have 9 locations serving Bobcat Nation. Their focus is great food at a great price. They have a huge selection of organic and natural foods at all 9 of their locations. Check them out in Bozeman, Belgrade, Helena, Livingston, Lewiston, Billings, and Dillon. Town & Country. You can also find their weekly flyers at tncfoods.com. Appreciate them for sponsoring our road to Nashville. Last thing I'll ask you is just about the moment, because Montana State, when they were here in 2021, that was like a breakthrough. I'm not saying they were happy to be here. Certainly Troy Anderson and Daniel Hardy and those guys wanted to win that game like nobody's business. But it was a sort of a coronation for the last great run the NDSU had. Certainly NDSU broke through and won another one last year, but that was like to stamp the three-peat and send all those guys on their way. Then in 2024, it seemed like last year was a ton of pressure on the guys, and they did not handle that pressure very well the first third of the game. Then they figured it out. They sort of dug their way out. But, I mean, the tone of the postgame was not just heartbreak. It was regret. Right, like Tommy Milano was like, man, we just didn't play how we needed to play out the gates, and Vegan said the same thing. Dug ourselves way too big of a hole, couldn't get out of it. This team doesn't seem like it's going to be afflicted by those sorts of like nerves, and I mean everybody's going to get nervous. We're all humans, but I don't know. What do you just think of just this team's mentality coming into this matchup?
Yeah. I think first off, you always want to look back at history, but you don't want to stare.
Sure.
Look back and understand how do you learn from that, but also understand this isn't the same team. And so I think they'll take both of those experiences, which were drastically different. You already articulated those. Where they happened to be there in 21. I think that's a fair. I don't know how else you want to paint that picture, but sure. Yeah, right. Maybe a little bit of a unheralded run that was awesome, and then last year, different dynamic, like you mentioned, just such high expectations, such a heavy senior-laden team, Tommy Malott, the whole thing, and this just has a different feel. You could see it yesterday in the walkthrough, and even talking with Paul Broad, he's like, his team just feels a little bit more loose,
sure.
And you could kind of see that, and so you match that with the understanding and learning from the previous two national championship experiences, and I think they're going to be, in a really good position to particularly start fast. That is the key. You can't wait. You can't wait midway through the first quarter or wait into the second quarter. A game like this requires your best, and you got to come out hot. And I think one of the big things, just from a rhythm. Talked about the indoor practice facility, but just to have the accessibility, like good footing,
yep.
Although it's been pretty damn nice in Bozeman as of late. But all that to say, you just get quality reps using the indoor. You couple it with the experience from the last couple of years in the championship game, and I think they'll be equipped and ready to start the game fast.
Mike Ryder here on Nuanez Now, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks to Samuel Kim and Mike Ryder for joining us here on the Montana Football Hour from Nashville, Tennessee. About an hour away now from kickoff, a little bit more than an hour, 5:30 Mountain Standard Time kick for this national title game. Pretty crazy the Big Sky Conference has not won a national championship since 2010 and only two in the 21st century. If Montana State can get it done tonight, it'll be the sixth time a Big Sky Conference team has taken home a national championship in the Division I AA era, which dates back to 1978. But the Redbirds of Illinois State certainly standing in the way of the Bobcats and hoisting their first trophy since 1984. Speaking of 1984, our next guest was a standout wide receiver from Butte, Montana, who scored one of the pivotal touchdowns in Bobcat football history in the semifinals against Rhode Island that helped then Montana State move into the national championship game, where then they won the most recent national championship game in school history. Kelly Davis will join us on the other side. And he and his teammates, they're ready to pass the baton. They're ready for them to not be the most recent national champion in Montana State history. We'll catch up with an all-time Bobcat great on the other side. Don't change that dial. Keep it right here. It's 102.9 ESPN Radio.
Did you know that if you have dense breasts, or any breasts for that matter, a screening mammogram or ultrasound can miss up to half of breast cancers? At Montana Imaging Center of Missoula, we now offer screening breast MRI, the best way to find cancer early. Tell your doctor you'd like to have a referral sent to Montana Imaging Center, where you'll save up to 90% on breast MRIs. Fridays at Montana Imaging Center, join us for Breast Fridays Ever. It's a relaxing, non-hospital screening experience with chocolates, champagne, and sometimes an emotional support puppy running around. Visit montanaimaging.com for more info.
Did you buy a home recently with the intention to remodel? The kitchen was a dream, but the master bedroom a nightmare? The house has the space, but the layout is all wrong? Contact Mountain View Remodels today. MountainViewRemodels.com. Licensed and insured, we've been building in the Bitterroot and surrounding areas for over 30 years. You don't have to buy the house of your dreams. We can remodel it to be the home you've always wanted. Contact us for your free consultation today. MountainViewRemodels.com.
Start the new year off warm and worry-free. Missoula winters can be tough on your home. When pipes freeze, water heaters struggle, or your furnace won't keep you warm, you don't want to wait. At Garden City Plumbing and Heating, certified technicians bring nearly 4 decades of trusted plumbing, heating, and HVAC services to homes and businesses across western Montana. From emergency repairs to installations and seasonal maintenance, they keep your systems running smoothly all winter long. Call or schedule online today because comfort in the new year starts at home with Garden City Plumbing and Heating.
Low testosterone and erectile dysfunction affect millions of men, and you don't have to live with it. At Game Day Men's Health in Missoula, their licensed medical team offers safe, personalized testosterone therapy, advanced ED treatments, and cutting-edge peptides designed to support your health, recovery, and performance. Take control of your health today. Call 406-203-3908 or search Game Day Men's Health Missoula to schedule your confidential consultation. Game Day Men's Health in Missoula, professional care, real results.
It's cold outside, but the deals are hot at Bob Ward's. Gear up with 20% off skis, boots, and bindings. $20 Spyder Pro sleds and Dragon goggles for $19.99. Don't miss season ski and snowboard rentals done fast. In and out, no stress. Beat the cold with $19.99 Reebok jackets, $10 wool blend base layers, and 20% off winter jackets and boots. Plus, store-wide savings on hunting gear, golfing equipment, camping essentials, and so much more. Shop deals and discounts in every department. Only at Bob Ward's. Sports and outdoors, Montana style.
Like most Montanans, we love a good steak. And because we're the Montana Club, we take the steaks we serve very seriously. We're confident to say that our custom grilled steaks are as good a steak as you're going to get. Now we're proud to add regularly sourced, naturally raised Castle Rock bison ribeye to our selection. And remember, the Montana Club steak entrees include the sides. Come into the Montana Club today for an unrivaled steak experience. The Montana Club on Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
While Montana State is chasing its first football national championship in 41 years, 3 of Montana's 4 Division I basketball teams got off to 2-0 starts in Big Sky Conference play. Hello, I'm Jeff Safford. Montana State plays Illinois State tonight with the FCS national title on the line. The Bobcats are on a 13-game winning streak and are in search of their first national championship since 1984. The title game kicks at 5:30 local from the Vanderbilt campus in Nashville, Tennessee. The Grizz men's basketball team got back on track after a rough non-conference stretch by drilling Northern Arizona and Northern Colorado over the weekend. Saturday, Monty Williams poured in 31 points and dished 5 assists to lead UM to an 88-79 win over Northern Colorado. The Bears, who had won 10 games in non-conference play, also lost in Bozeman Thursday. The Bobcats men's team completed the weekend sweep by riding 22 points from Jed Miller to a 77-68 win over Northern Arizona. Montana State's women got off to a 2-0 start by sweeping UNC and NAU over the weekend. Taylor Cherrick rolled up 27 points, grabbed 8 boards, and snared 5 steals to secure an 82-65 win over NAU Saturday. The Lady Grizz were 0-2 this weekend, including a 77-58 loss at Northern Colorado Saturday.
This is Nuanez Now on 102.9 ESPN Radio Missoula.
Welcome back, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Colter Nuanez coming to you live from Nashville, Tennessee. Shorter version of the show today, just until 5 o'clock, because 5:30, the kickoff of the FCS national title game between second-ranked Montana State and number 17, Illinois State. Montana State has not won a national championship since 1984. We caught up with a man who was a pivotal member of that football team that won the Natty 41 years ago. Our road to Nashville continues, catching up with Bobcat greats from multiple different eras. It's been a little while since we talked with Kelly Davis. I wrote a story about the 1984 Cats. This was probably about 10 years ago now, because I think it was the 30th anniversary. And so I caught up with Kelly back then, but good to talk to you. Good to see you, man. Thanks for doing this with me.
Oh, thank you, Colter. It's a pleasure.
I saw another guy, one of your teammates from 84, Tom Malum, the other day, and he was saying, hey, Cats have got to win this thing. We're tired of being the most recent national champs. It's been 41 years. I'm old. We got to get new guys in here. So tell us about your perspective as being part of the last national championship team for Montana State. Now here they are knocking on the door of another one. You probably feel a similar way.
I do. And I remember growing up in grade school or junior high, I was elk hunting listening to the 76 national championship game on the radio. And,
wow.
41 years is a long time. And, we are diehard Bobcat fans, and this is long overdue. I am so excited for this team. And, aside from a championship ring, aside from any of the media, any of that other stuff, the things that I would hope is the bond and the brotherhood that a championship team develops. It's 41 years ago, and every single one of those players, we meet up at reunions. We meet up. I have every one of their emails. Half the guys are in my phone, and the brotherhood that it's created. We would hope that this team gets to experience that, because it's truly amazing. I know their wives. I know their kids. I'm beginning to know their grandkids. It's long overdue, and we're so excited for this team, and we can't wait to see what happens in Nashville. We are very confident. We love this team, and there's a lot of similarities that we see, and it's our time.
No doubt. Well, you're from Butte. You mentioned the 76 national championship. That was with a Butte head coach and a Butte quarterback and Sonny Holland and Paul Dennehy. And then this last couple of years, you've got to see another Butte quarterback. So a fun deal. But, I mean, first of all, tell us this about being a Butte kid and watching those Butte guys win that national championship in 1976.
Oh, it was fantastic. And, we always aspired to do what those guys did. And that's kind of why I became a Bobcat. I looked up to all those guys in junior high and high school. And a story that a lot of people don't know is Tommy Malott's grandfather was my first football coach. And he was a pretty amazing guy. He coached the 9th grade football team at East Junior High.
Wow.
And he had won every single game for like 15 years. And the goal, and when you got there, is you had to win 7 games. You had 7 games in the season. You were going to win 7 games. And we would not let Coach Fogarty down. And it was a great way to start our football career from a coach like Gene Fogarty from Butte, Montana.
It's so cool because Tommy told me the story of his grandfather's influence on him last year. And, he said, he told me, sitting in the basement, going through all the old playbooks and how much of an influence that had on him as a kid. And it's so cool to see that what he became. That must have also given you so much pride, a guy from Butte that just sort of leading the way, because he was the first Montana guy to start a quarterback for the Cats in forever, like 30 years.
Yeah, I think Barry Sullivan was the last quarterback, a very good athlete from Butte. And yeah, it just brings out the Butte pride. And we have a lot of great players from Butte, both in Missoula and in Bozeman. And it was such a treat to see Tommy's success, and what a wonderful young man he is.
Yeah, it was really fun covering him, and it was just awesome to see the way he was able to sustain it all. We're hoping he can get healthy. I saw him down in the preseason, and he looked great, and then he had the hip thing, so now we'll see if he can get back healthy, but certainly rooting him on. Tell us some more of your memories from 1984, because that was such a crazy season, both, when you go game by game, but also just in the scope of the history of Montana State football. What made that team, obviously the close bond, like you talked about, is a huge influence, but what made that team so clutch? There were so many games where you guys went back and forth and were just able to figure out a way at the end.
Oh yeah, we were coined the cardiac cats. I mean, we found a way to win, and it was really special. And in 1983, we only won 1 game, and that was the Cat Grizz game. And so we came into the season as complete underdogs and became quickly a Cinderella. And we just kept winning. We just kept trying to make good plays. We relied on our teammates. We were really close as a team. And we were just going game by game, and all of a sudden the playoffs happened, and we didn't even know what the playoffs were. And we beat Fresno State, and we got a first-round bye, and Arkansas State came in. And again, we had to do our thing. Our quarterback threw 2 pick sixes, and Kelly Bradley's going to kill me for saying this, but he also threw 3 touchdown passes to win the game. And then we were on to Rhode Island, and it was a cold day, snow berms, and we faced adversity just like the current team's facing adversity. They make great plays. Joey Roberts' interception. We were down. They were almost ready to go up 2 scores. Joey makes the big play. It's just like Zach Cruz blocking the field goal in the Cat Grizz game. Caden Dowler intercepting a pick 6. Taco and Lamson making that incredible pass play in the Grizz playoff game.
Yeah.
And
one of my Bobcat buddies texted me right when Taco Dowler made that play, and he said, Joe Roberts has company. He goes, that's the play that is like the one that Joe Roberts made in the semifinals to swing the game.
Oh, that was special. And it was moments like that just kept following us around, and we kept believing in ourselves and our teammates, our coach. We had a great coaching staff. We currently have a great coaching staff. We have wonderful players, very athletic players, and it's their time. They're a great team. They know how to prepare for a game like this. They've been on the stage, and it's go time for these guys. And whatever they do to prep for their game, they know how to do it. Yeah, they've been there, so we're excited to see this team play on the 5th.
The Kelly Bradley note is an interesting one too, right? Because Gus Bradley then went on to be a great coach, but he's one of Brent Vigen's best friends. So Vigen had ties to the Bradley family before he even probably knew what Montana State was. So interesting fold there.
Yeah, exactly. And his son is a quarterback in the NFL. I believe he's on the practice squad at the 49ers and was on the Raiders. And I believe his name's Brady Bradley.
Right, yeah.
I believe in good athletic family there, huh? Good football minds.
No doubt. Well, one thing that's been such a consistent tie for either of the Montana schools all throughout the years is the great guys from Montana that they have on their rosters. It seems like the best teams for both the Cats and the Grizz have had, sort of Montana-made flavors, and that's exactly the case this year again with the Cats, and that was the case with you guys too, right? I mean, you're from Butte, and Malum's from Missoula, and Mark Fellows is from Shoto, and
Clete Linebarger, Doug Kimball.
Right.
I mean, I could go down the line. All really hard-nosed, great football players.
Like they were all from. Everybody was from Montana, right?
Oh yeah, and in my class, I played in the Shrine Game with Clete and Doug. And we all came in. Kelly Bradley came in the same year. But yeah, it's incredible. The talent that Montana has as football players. I mean, some of these guys came from 6-man, 8-man football, played both ways their whole high school career, and they're tough, hard-nosed kids. And it's great to control the recruiting of Montana. And I think Vigen's done a very good job of that.
Listen to 102.9 ESPN Radio. Nuanez Now, live from Nashville, Tennessee. Our road to Nashville, probably presented in part by Bob Ward Sports and Outdoors. Shop Bob Ward's for big savings on winter gear, 20% off all alpine skis, boots, and bindings. You can also rent for the season, which is a pretty good deal as well. All the snow clothes on sale. Got brands like Volcom, Eddie Bauer, North Face, Under Armour, Arc'teryx, and more. The best brands, best prices, no hassle shopping, only at Bob Ward's Sports and Outdoors. Coming up on it, you're going to continue hearing from Kelly Davis, a member of the 1984 Montana State National Championship team, as Montana State gunning for their first national championship since 1984, in just about an hour from now. It is, and it's cliche to say, but it just seems like it just means more to the guys from Montana, right? And so much of it's just because of the dream that you have growing up, right? And I think it's the thing that's going to make Montana and Montana State football sustainable into the future with all these crazy things that are going on in the wide world of college sports. Because guys are just so much more loyal and beholden to the programs, right? Like Adam Jones could go play wherever he wants, but he doesn't want to. He wants to be a Bobcat, right? And so it just seems like it is so much pride individually and collectively for all the guys from Montana over the years.
Yeah, I agree. And it's play for your people. And Montana is such a great football state, both sides of the divide. Those stadiums are packed, both sides. I watch the playoff games. And I'm like, wow, there's more fans at a Butte High game than there is at these playoff games, and it's special to the people of Montana. And it's I don't know. It seems like a lot of Montana people follow players all the way up from grade school to high school to college, and it's exciting as a player from Montana to play for the people of Montana.
Well, what do you think of just this year's team? What do you think gives them a fighting chance on Monday night?
I'm going to tell you, they know how to handle adversity. They know how to change the momentum. And when you look at good teams, you throw a pick, you have a fumble. It's what happens on the next couple of series of downs. And they've been continually changing the momentum and fighting through it. And it's impressive. A lot of teams will give up, but these guys don't give up, and they're focused. And it's a never quit mentality. I love that about them.
It's been super fun to watch, just the way that, because you're right. I mean, the fighter's mentality, and Paul Broad always says win at all costs. And I mean, he's the greatest example of it, man. He's had a busted ankle for 6 weeks, and he just keeps on rehabbing and keeps on rolling out there and playing. It's been pretty fun. Last thing though, have you considered what it will be like if you guys sort of pass the baton and there's a new national champion at Montana State?
Oh, you know what? The more the merrier. And again, back to the bonding and the brotherhood for life is special. And I could probably speak for the whole 84 team. We want that for this team more than ever. And they'll realize it in 10 or 15 years, how special it really was, and how special the friendships, the bonds, and how special the state of Montana is in supporting your team. And all the boosters of Bozeman, and Leon Costello has done a fantastic job at improving all the facilities at Montana State, along with President Cruzado, and the new president is on board. And it's just very exciting for Montana State football going forward, and all of athletics at Montana State. It's just wonderful to see. We had a grass field at Reno Sales Stadium, and it had a crown in the center of the field that was, I swear, 3 foot higher than the sidelines. And every time I'd run a slant or a post pattern, it'd be uphill. And it was one of those things where you go to an agricultural land grant school, and by God, they're never going to have artificial turf. We're going to have natural grass. And we've made that step, and the facilities are incredible now, and the atmosphere of game day is incredible. And the quality of players that come out are absolutely fantastic. Coach Vegan and his staff have done such a wonderful job. And, it makes all us previous players proud. And we're just elated that we're at this point again, and it's our time. And we're going to go down there, and we're going to end their Cinderella story. The Redbirds end on Monday. And I'm excited for these players.
Passion from the man from the mining city, Kelly Davis. Fun catching up with Kelly. Hadn't talked to him in a little while. Last time I talked to him was for a big story I did on the 1984 Bobcats for a magazine that I used to write for. So it was fun making the rounds with those guys. More than 60 dudes from the 1984 team in Nashville on hand to see if Montana State can break that 41-year streak of a title drought. Our road to Nashville, probably presented in part by Blackfoot Communications. As the Montana State Bobcats take Bozeman pride on the road for the national championship, Blackfoot Communications is proud to support the businesses that keep Montana moving. With managed services, high-speed internet, and business voice solutions, Blackfoot delivers the reliability and local support that Bozeman and Montana businesses depend on game day and every day. Learn more at www.blackfoot.com. Blackfoot Communications, powering Bobcats, powering Grizzlies, powering Montana businesses.
Winter is coming, and your garage door is your first line of defense against the chill. Wayne Dalton Sales and Service is offering a top and side seal winterization package to help increase security and keep your garage warmer. Visit wayne-dalton.com/Missoula for more info and to book your winterization today. Wayne Dalton's garage door winterization ensures your door is prepped and protected for the cold months ahead. Call Wayne Dalton Sales and Service today at 406-510-1899 or visit wayne-dalton.com/Missoula.
Are you a vacation rental or property owner in western Montana? Tired of the hassle but still want to boost your bookings and revenue from your property? Mountain Town VRM uses a small pricing system that automatically adjusts rates based on seasonality, demand, and local inventory to maximize both occupancy and revenue. We provide 24/7 guest support, cleaning that ensures smooth check-ins, quick responses to issues, and a high-quality experience that encourages repeat bookings. Let Mountain Town VRM do the work while you enjoy the return. Visit mountaintownvrm.com to see what your property could earn today.
Someone who said they were from Medicare called and asked for my personal information.
I noticed a charge on my Medicare statement for a test I don't remember having.
I got a letter offering me free medical equipment if I gave them my Medicare number.
Something didn't seem right.
It seemed too good to be true.
If something seems odd, it's probably fraud. Call Senior Medicare Patrol at 800-551-3191 to report fraud. This project is supported by a grant by the Administration for Community Living.
Big changes start with small steps, and the Diabetes Prevention Program helps you take them. This proven CDC program teaches healthy eating, stress management, and ways to stay active, all in a supportive group. Participants have reduced their risk of diabetes by 58% and 71% if they're over 65. Smoking and vaping can raise your risk too, but help is free at quitnowmontana.com or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. To join the Diabetes Prevention Program at Missoula Public Health, call 406-880-5344 to register.
Are you a sports fan who loves to win? Get in on the action with Sportsbet Montana. Bet on collegiate and professional baseball, football, hockey, basketball, and more, all while keeping the money right here in Montana. It's easy and secure on our kiosks and mobile app. Head to your favorite Sportsbet Montana retail location to catch the game, place your bets, and celebrate your wins. Sportsbet Montana. Learn more at sportsbetmontana.com.
1, 2, 3. Nuanez Now on ESPN Radio.
Yo, welcome back. 102.9 ESPN Radio, SWX Montana Television, and the ESPN MT app. Colter Nuanez coming to you live from Nashville, Tennessee. Our road to Nashville continues here. Appreciate our fine sponsors for getting us down here, including Blackfoot Communications. Blackfoot Communications has provided good paying jobs to people around Montana. If you want to find out more, visit goblackfoot.com. Montana Football Hour, talking all things Illinois State and Montana State as we're headed into this national championship game. First point, I think several of our guests emphasized that I just wanted to re-emphasize is I just think this is a pivotal moment for the Big Sky Conference. I think that it's been too long, first of all, given the investment in football in the Big Sky, to have a 16-year drought. And part of that is because of the bar that has been set by North Dakota State. But guess who's not in this championship game? NDSU. Neither South Dakota State. So that's a big opportunity. I don't think either of these teams are assuming that they're going to just walk their way to the title, even though there isn't the Bison on the other side when you're the Bobcats, and even though you beat the Bison if you're Illinois State. But there is just a little bit less of an intimidation factor. And it also just feels like this is sort of a renewal. We've been going to Frisco for a long time, down in Texas, right outside of Dallas. Now we're in a new place. It's going to be played on a college field, on turf, not grass, in a venue that I think is way more just made for a national championship game environment, and also just the actual logistics of playing on that turf field. Talked to Brent Vegan about it yesterday, and he re-emphasized that as well. You know, they heard they ever play on grass, so just playing on turf is just what these guys are used to. And the fact is we're going to have a non-Dakota State national champion for the first time since 2016, and just the second time since Eastern Washington won the title way back in 2010. So it just seems like a sort of a new day when it comes to the FCS. Can Montana State get it done on behalf of the state of Montana and on behalf of the Big Sky Conference? We'll see. To me, I think that the things that go into these games when you are a big-time favorite. The Cats right now are up to 11.5-point favorites on Sportsbet Montana. The things that go into making you that, but then the thing that could derail that is if you just have a whole bunch of nerves or a whole bunch of mistakes or a combination of both. Montana State started slow last year. They had a busted defensive alignment when Cam Miller scored a long touchdown that was super pivotal. They made a couple uncharacteristic, poor coaching decisions. Samuel Kim talked about one of those when they went for it on 4th down right before halftime. I don't expect that to be the case. This team seems to have more stability just in the fact that the staff is not on the way out the door. At least there hasn't been anything reported on that plane in a little while. Unsure. I mean, I'm sure like every team in college football, as soon as this season's over, Montana State's going to have to hold on to some of its best players. I expect several of the guys that are on the team to get the big offers from bigger schools. But it just seems like they have a lot more of a plan when it comes to mitigating all those sort of factors. And it also seems like just less distractions all the way around and less pressure. Montana State last year was undefeated, and they were riding high. They had an opportunity to be the best team in the history of the school, and it didn't work out for them, and they fell short, and North Dakota State won another one. This team seems to be less impacted by that sort of pressure, less impacted by the narrative. I think part of that's because they were sort of lurking in the shadows for most of the first couple months of the season before then they sort of emerged as one of the favorites and then the overwhelming favorite when North Dakota State went down on the other side of the bracket. So the intangible things I think point toward Montana State. They don't, for Illinois State to pull an upset, they would have to force a bunch of turnovers. Montana State doesn't really turn the ball over. They'd have to expect Montana State to play, tight and not lean into the moment, not embrace the moment. I don't see that happening just given the complexion of this Montana State group. That said, Montana State's not going to be able to just blow Illinois State off the ball like they do to a lot of the teams that they play throughout the regular season and even into the playoffs. I think this will be one of, if not the best fronts on both sides of the ball. Illinois State's offensive line goes about 6'6", 308 pounds is for their average. So they're bigger than Montana State. They're bigger than pretty much anybody Montana State's played so far this year. So I think that it'll be a pretty good game in the trenches. So then who adjusts off of that? Who can maximize their playmakers on the outside? Julius Davis and Adam Jones, who has a better game out of those two compared to Vic Dawson from Illinois State? Can Taco Dowler get loose for MSU? Can Daniel Sopkowitz get loose for Illinois State? Which quarterback plays better, Tommy Rittenhouse or Justin Lamson? All those things are going to play into this, but I think that the fact that Illinois State has been on the road so often throughout this playoffs, I mean, they're 10-0 on the road, so I think that you take a ton of confidence coming into Nashville. That said, I just don't know how much gas you have left in the tank. Montana State certainly has played a rigorous schedule as well, especially with the way that they bookended it, starting with Oregon and South Dakota State, ending with UC Davis and Montana, and then having, of course, 3 playoff games to get here. But to me, it seems like the Bobcats are ready for this. They're ready for the moment. They're ready to embrace it. We'll see if the Big Sky Conference and the state of Montana will bring home a national championship trophy. Thanks to all our great sponsors. It's the Montana Football Hour, proudly presented by Ryan Miller and Coburn. We also have to say thanks to Town and Country Foods, Blackfoot Communications, The Advocates, and Bob Ward Sports and Outdoors. All of those fine clients helped us get down here to Nashville as well. And thanks so much to you for listening. We'll be back at it tomorrow at 4 p.m. Nuanez Now, 1029 ESPN Radio.
Life gets messy, and you might need a helping hand. Black Mountain Junk Removal to the rescue. From junk removal to demolition with an emphasis on the environment, Black Mountain Junk Removal can assist you with all your cleanup and moving needs and leave you with a tidy home, business, or rental property. Black Mountain Junk Removal is a division of Black Mountain Lawn and Landscape. Call 406-529-0793 and go in the new year junk-free. Black Mountain Junk Removal.
It's cold outside, but the deals are hot at Bob Ward's. Gear up with 20% off skis, boots, and bindings. $20 Spyder Pro sleds and Dragon goggles for $19.99. Don't miss season ski and snowboard rentals done fast. In and out, no stress. Beat the cold with $19.99 Reebok jackets, $10 wool blend base layers, and 20% off winter jackets and boots. Plus, store-wide savings on hunting gear, golfing equipment, camping essentials, and so much more. Shop deals and discounts in every department. Only at Bob Ward's. Sports and Outdoors, Montana style.
Did you buy a home recently with the intention to remodel? The kitchen was a dream, but the master bedroom a nightmare? The house has the space, but the layout is all wrong? Contact Mountain View Remodels today. MountainViewRemodels.com. Licensed and insured, we've been building in the Bitterroot and surrounding areas for over 30 years. You don't have to buy the house of your dreams. We can remodel it to be the home you've always wanted. Contact us for your free consultation today. MountainViewRemodels.com.
Start the new year off warm and worry-free. Missoula winters can be tough on your home. When pipes freeze, water heaters struggle, or your furnace won't keep you warm, you don't want to wait. At Garden City Plumbing and Heating, certified technicians bring nearly 4 decades of trusted plumbing, heating, and HVAC services to homes and businesses across western Montana. From emergency repairs to installations and seasonal maintenance, they keep your systems running smoothly all winter long. Call or schedule online today because comfort in the new year starts at home with Garden City Plumbing and Heating.
Get ready. The Montana Cup is taking over Steed Arena. 4 of Montana's best college hockey teams, 1 champion. It starts Thursday, January 8th. Montana versus Providence, 7 p.m. Friday night, it's Montana State and Montana Tech, also at 7. Then Saturday night, the winners collide for the Montana Cup Championship, 7 p.m. Every game, 1 rink, all general admission. Fast ice, big hits, statewide bragging rights. Get your tickets now at 406tix.com. The Montana Cup. This is Montana hockey.
Hey, it's Colter Nuanez from your favorite daily sports talk show, Nuanez Now, and I want to buy you a meal on your birthday at Paradise Falls. If it's your birthday, head on over to Paradise Falls at 3621 Brook Street, and I will buy you a birthday entree. All you have to do is go into the family-friendly Missoula favorite, present your ID, and the entree is on me. Birthday meals courtesy of Nuanez Now at Paradise Falls, a family-friendly restaurant serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If it's your birthday, head over to Paradise Falls, Missoula's coolest hotspot.
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula.
This season, 15-12 without him. He's got this season and next season and $95 million remaining on his contract. Add the Raiders, Cardinals, and Browns to the list of NFL teams with head coaching vacancies, along with the Giants, Titans, and Falcons. Kevin Stefanski fired following his 6th year in Cleveland. After 3 years in Arizona, Jonathan Gannon's out. Pete Carroll's done after one awful season in Vegas. The Raiders opening, the least desirable, believes Freddie and Harry co-host Harry Douglas.
Outside of Max Crosby, who defensively are you counting? And then from an offensive standpoint, I know they drafted Ashton Genty, but Brock Bowers is their best player. I think it's the Raiders because of what they don't have right now and how much they still need amongst their team overall.
The Raiders do have the top overall pick in the upcoming NFL draft. Mike McDaniel said he'll remain the head coach of the Dolphins and will be part of the team's interview process for its next GM. Also confirmed there'll be a quarterback competition in 2026. Meantime, Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa benched the last 3 games, said he is open to a fresh start. His salary cap hit for 2026 is $56 million. Rams anticipate getting receiver Devontae Adams back from his hamstring injury for Saturday's NFC wildcard game against the Panthers. 49ers linebacker Tatum Bethune will miss the entire postseason due to a torn groin. Eric Kendrick starts in his place in the NFC wildcard game against the Eagles on Sunday.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Tuesday, we ask Adam Schefter, what else should we expect when it comes to the coaching carousel when he joins us at 8 a.m. Eastern. It's on Sportsmanlike. Weekday mornings at 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
The first place to go, the only thing you need. 102.9 ESPN Radio.
This is Amber and Ian on ESPN Radio. Amber Wilson.
I just had 2 2 ruptured discs in my back. I just had to have a back epidural. So I now feel the pain, by the way, of like the guy, like Matthew Stafford's of the world, who we were talking early in the season, trying to make a big deal about his back epidurals. And I did a workout class today, like a month after my back epidural, and I'm afraid that I'm going to have a hard time getting out of bed tomorrow morning.
Ian Fitzsimmons.
There happens to be about a 4-foot water moccasin sitting coiled up on the couch. And we're like, Mom, snake. She goes and grabs one of the lead shanks that we just hung up and then looks at my brother and I and just proceeds to beat this water moccasin on the couch. She goes, that's how you handle it. Let's go get breakfast.
Now, here's Amber and Ian on ESPN Radio. Fireball.
The winds of change are blowing in the
NFL. Jonathan Zaslow is here. He's hanging out. He's filling in for Ian tonight on Amber and Ian. We are presented to you by Progressive Insurance. Listening back to that sound, Zaz, where I'm talking about Matthew Stafford's back epidurals. Remember what a big deal that was? As we were heading to the season.
His career was
stupid,
over.
Right? His career was over. We had all these concerns about that team because of Matthew Stafford's back. He's leading the odds for MVP. The man's going to be the NFL MVP.
How did that happen?
I don't know. It's funny now. This whole NFL season it flipped on top of its head.
And it feels a little unpredictable. I own that statement.
Yeah, NFL, a little unpredictable. College football also this season, a little unpredictable. Some of these coaching firings, though, not so unpredictable today. Be a part of Amber and Ian Nation on the Dr. Pepper call-in line. Call us. We love that. Maybe your coach got fired today. You can vent to us. Maybe you're rejoicing. 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. ESPN Nation is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. It ain't college football season without the delicious taste of an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. College football, it is a pepper thing. So yesterday, Zaz, we got the news. The Falcons, they kick things off a little bit early here. They fire Raheem Morris.
They wanted to be first.
They wanted to be first. They fire Terry Fontenot as well, the general manager there. So they got things kicked off on Sunday night. Then the Browns, they joined the fray this morning. They fired Kevin Stefanski, who was 46-58. That included the playoffs, by the way, because, you know, he spent some time there in his 6 seasons with the Browns. Las Vegas, they fired 74-year-old Pete Carroll after just 1 season with the franchise. And then Jonathan Gannon is out in Arizona after 3 seasons with the squad. So if you're keeping track at home, right now we've got the Cardinals, the Raiders, the Browns, the Falcons, the Giants, and the Titans all looking for coaches because, of course, a couple of those firings happened during the season. This is the 16th straight season, Zaslow, in which at least 5 head coaching changes were made. 7 teams began 2025 with new coaches. We'll see if 2026 ends up breaking that record. Maybe there's more to come. We'll certainly get into that as well. But let's start here with the Browns. Kevin Stefanski, a coach, has won multiple coaches of the year. He's out. Were you surprised?
Not surprised, but I don't agree with it. We've been having this conversation for a couple months now, I would say, with the Browns. So definitely not surprised, especially because, man, what did he have to work with? Like, what do you know? I guess, what do you know about Kevin Stefanski now that you didn't know about him at the start of the season? If you're the Cleveland Browns, they had no quarterback this year. You went with Dylan Gabriel for a little bit, then you went with Joe Flacco, then Dylan Gabriel for a little bit, then Shadur Sanders for a little bit. What do you know right now about Kevin Stefanski that you decided, I don't want this guy anymore, that going into this year, you're like, he's still a good coach?
Do you have a guess how many quarterbacks have played for the Browns during Kevin Stefanski's tenureship there?
Ooh, I like this question. All right. Stefanski has been there for, what are we talking, like 6 years? Does that sound about right?
6 years, 2 playoff appearances in his first 4 seasons. A lot of that to do with their running game. We know that this is a coach of the year. We know it started off real well and then obviously fizzled out.
I have a guess.
But the quarterback position has never gone real well.
I have a guess.
Okay.
8.
I tried to stall for you. 8. Way undercutting it.
Really?
Under Stefanski, the Browns have used an NFL high 13 different starting quarterbacks. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it wasn't the coach. Jimmy Haslam, he owned the Browns on the list, and he's not happy with the record right now with that team. Take a listen.
First of all, ownership takes full responsibility for where we are. To win 8 games in 2 years is horrible. It's totally unacceptable, okay? And it's not going to continue, okay? And I want the fans to know we are as frustrated as you are.
It's not going to continue.
It's not going to continue. If it's not going to continue, you've got to get a quarterback. Now, I guess in fairness to the ownership there, and it's obvious changes needed to be made. I'm with you. I would not have fired Kevin Stefanski. I think he gets a job immediately if he wants another job immediately. Aaron Goldhammer disagrees with that, by the way, and he's obviously closer to that team than you and I are. But I think meaning
he doesn't think he gets another job?
Yeah, he doesn't think that he would get another job immediately as a NFL head coach if he wanted one immediately, which I was surprised about because I feel like he's a very well-respected coach.
Well, they're super close to the situation there, you know. I can understand him having that opinion. I don't agree. I think he can get a job if he wants in this cycle.
Yeah.
But I get where those guys in Cleveland are coming from.
Now, I wouldn't want, if I was him, to necessarily get a job immediately in this cycle. Maybe I'd take a year off, do a little of what we do, enjoy my life a little bit. Yeah, sit around a little bit, watch some
I would sit
Netflix,
around so hard.
Catch up on the shows. I heard Stranger Things, How It Ends. Ain't that great?
Yeah.
Maybe you got to catch up on that if you're Kevin.
Good. It's good.
So under the Browns quarterbacks, Stefanski, they have ranked in the bottom 5 in total QBR, in yards per attempt, in completion percentage. He's gone through 13 of them, Zaslow, and none of them have done well, is the long or the short of it.
Don't forget, one of them was Baker. That's
he
tough
was,
to swallow.
and that one's tough. That's one's tough. Now, that was a different Baker, and he went through a lot, matured a lot after that, but still, that one's a little bit tough. It's not like all of these guys have been terrible. So that doesn't help Stefanski's case because he was supposed to be the quarterback whisperer. Let's talk about the Raiders firing Pete Carroll, a 74-year-old. He wasn't going to be the answer for the long run anyways for this Las Vegas team, but obviously it went far worse than they expected.
Well, so this one's a no-brainer, all right? You had to fire Pete Carroll, but I'm surprised that this season went the way it did, all right? Like, I thought Pete Carroll was a great hire because very clearly, Tom Brady, and I think he's going to be more in the decision-making process, even more in the decision-making process now than maybe he even previously was. But he certainly had a say going into this year, and it would appear that they wanted to stabilize what is an unstable organization. Okay, let's trade for a very solid quarterback in Geno Smith. That makes a lot of sense. And let's also
one that Carroll has a familiarity with.
And let's bring in Pete Carroll. I think it was the other way around. They brought Carroll in first, but you get what I'm saying? Let's bring in Pete Carroll as this is a guy who clearly knows what he's doing. He's not a long-term answer, but let him coach the team for 2-3 years. Stabilize everything, and then we bring in a young coach who takes over a franchise that's on solid footing. So none of that ended up being the case with the coach or the quarterback. And while it's a no-brainer fire Pete Carroll, I'm very surprised how it went down.
I didn't like the hiring, and I didn't like the hiring largely because I felt like you did need to hire somebody that if it worked out, there was a promise there of a future. And just based on Pete Carroll's age, and I'm not trying to be ageist, I'm not suggesting that you can't coach at that age, but why the hell would you want to for too terribly long? And so he wasn't going to be there for 10 years, even if Pete Carroll is, it looks younger than Jonathan Zaslow at 74 years.
Although I got a Benjamin Button thing going on here, all right, but he looks great. I know you're aging
backwards. You look great as well. Only 3 wins there. He went 3-14 during his time there in Las Vegas. That is his fewest wins in a single season as an NFL head coach for Pete Carroll. Listen, Pete Carroll's had an incredible career at both levels of football, any way you cut it. This just sucks for everybody who was involved. You're right. They were going to have to cut their losses and move on. Jonathan Gannon, he is out. Did that one surprise you at all for Arizona?
No, and I think the best way to sum up Jonathan Gannon's time in Arizona is just it was a nothing.
It was a nothing burger.
It was a nothing. There's nothing to talk about.
People liked the hire at the time. I mean, he was a candidate that had interest in multiple places, but yeah, there's nothing to talk about. 15-36 in 3 seasons. You don't know much about that franchise. You don't really feel like you've got the quarterback. If I'm an Arizona Cardinals fan, there's not much that I'm excited about, but certainly moving on from him makes a whole lot of sense. And then the Falcons, of course, they get rid of Raheem Morris.
That's a no-brainer, too.
Yeah, they had to be first to do it. Is it a no-brainer, though? Because there was a lot of people that still felt like the way that the Falcons finished the season, they won their final 4 games of the season, that he would end up being safe because it's sort of like the Mike McDaniel thing that happened in Miami, where they rip off 4 straight wins down the stretch and he ends up being safe.
At one point they finished 5 out of 6. Yeah.
That's what a lot of people felt like was happening to Raheem Morris.
Yeah. I think this is the second go round for Raheem Morris. I mean, a much younger Raheem Morris in Tampa Bay did not fare well. And this didn't seem to be any different with him. I think there is you're right. They ended up finishing by winning their last 4 games, but I think there's a major difference between competing and winning games in the middle of the regular season when there's still stakes and then winning your final 4 games right after you get eliminated from playoff contention. Like, it's not the same thing. And
even if you consider that the quarterback there is supposed to be the quarterback of the future tore his ACL.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I think there's a body of work now with Raheem Morris. I don't think he's a head coach in the NFL. And the more interesting part of it, though, is when they hired Raheem Morris, they hired him because they hired him at the behest of even speaking to Bill Belichick.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying they should have hired Bill Belichick, but they didn't even speak to Belichick, who wanted to interview for that job. And they went and hired Raheem Morris.
They probably still could speak to Bill Belichick if they wanted to. The Falcons are the first team to end a season on a 4-game winning streak and then fire its coach since the 2021 Raiders did it. Coming up next here on Amber and Ian with Jonathan Saslow filling in for Ian tonight. Will a wild ending to one game yesterday cost a longtime coach his job? Are these firings over? Plus, we'll take your calls. 888-SAY-ESPN if you want to chime in to the coaching carousel talk in the NFL right here on ESPN Radio.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and me, Michelle Smallman. We continue to react to the coaching carousel and, of course, look ahead to Wild Card Weekend. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN 2, and ESPNU.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply by February 11th and get your application fee waived. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes, along with more than 135 degrees and certificates in fields like business, cybersecurity, healthcare, and more. Gain the skills you need to achieve your career goals. Get your application fee waived through February 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Is delayed service on your roll-off box slowing your construction project down? Call Grizzly Disposal and get yours within 24 hours. Don't wait days or even weeks for your construction roll-off box. Grizzly Disposal has them in stock and can get them to you fast. Visit grizzlydisposal.com or call 406-541-7171. 24-hour turnaround times and a commitment to doing what they say they're going to do. Locally and veteran-owned, Grizzly Disposal, the only bears that should be in your garbage.
How would you describe opportunity? Your next opportunity starts with the right financial partner. At Opportunity Bank, we're helping to build strong financial futures for Montanans. Whether growing your business or buying your dream Montana home, consider us your local guide to whatever's next. Opportunity awaits with Opportunity Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Bank NMLS 412554.
Are you a vacation rental owner in Western Montana? Tired of the hassle but still want to boost your bookings and revenue from your property? Meet Mountain Town VRM. Mountain Town VRM offers property owners a real-time portal with the detailed insights into revenue, expenses, and platform performance. Plus, the ability to block personal dates. Guests benefit from custom digital guidebooks with local tips and house information curated by our Montana-based team to create a more personalized and memorable stay. Let Mountain Town VRM do the work while you enjoy the return. Visit mountaintownvrm.com to see what your property could earn today.
Going green is easy at the Good Food Store with our Eco Takeout program. Just stop by customer service, pay a $5 refundable deposit, and grab a clean, reusable container for all your favorites at the salad bar, deli, bulk, or meat counter. When you're done, rinse it at home and swap it for a fresh, sanitized one on your next visit. Eco Takeout. Good for your food, better for the planet. Only at the Good Food Store. There's always something good here.
Medicare loses $60 million in Montana each year, $60 billion nationally.
ESPN
Medicare
Radio,
processes
your window
4.5
to
million
University
claims
of
a day.
Montana football.
They don't know who your doctor is, but you do. Mistakes can happen. Read your Medicare statements and call Montana Senior Medicare Patrol if you see anything unexpected. 1-800-551-3191. This project is supported by a grant by the Administration for Community Living.
Sometimes it's stressful juggling all your responsibilities on the weekends. You know you need to do your chores. You know you want to spend time with your family. But really, you just want to watch football all day. Paradise Falls is the perfect option for a family-friendly place to hang out and still have a chance to catch all the games. Open 7 a.m. till midnight and offering breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Paradise Falls has 30 big screen TVs, ESPN 3 capabilities, and much, much more. Swing on by Paradise Falls on Brook Street anytime you're in the mood for some food or some football. Paradise Falls, 3621 Brook Street, Missoula's coolest hotspot.
Fire their head coach because they're in the playoffs. Carolina won the division. Woo! We're going to get a 40-burger dropped on us like on L.A. Team I'm saying that didn't do anything with their head coach was Zach Taylor. I was relieved to hear that Zach Taylor kept his job, but I think that was kind of a dangle in the face saying that this is your last year.
Thanks for the call, Scott. Yeah, listen, I think that has a lot to do with also who does Joe Burrow want, Zaz, right? Like, I think when you have a quarterback of that caliber, then I think you do take that into account as well. And certainly things haven't gone as the Bengals had hoped after making a Super Bowl appearance. But at the same time, health has a lot to do with that.
I think that they likely know that the quarterback likes him. Right. And so that's why you keep Zach Taylor. At the same time, let's also be honest here. This is an organization that is frugal and has a history of not wanting to pay coaches to go away. I mean, heck, Marvin Lewis was there forever, so I think that plays a part as well. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think Zach Taylor deserved to get fired. I mean, their quarterback missed half the season, and their quarterback's one of the best in the league, and he's not the president of the team. He's not the general manager of the team. That defense is horrendous. Right. Like, what's Zach Taylor supposed to do there? I know it wouldn't have been a surprise if he was fired, but I think they made the right move by keeping him.
I mean, I think we're going to have that same conversation a little bit about the Ravens because they're not so different this season as well. It's hard. It's hard when you're missing your guy or when, your quarterback gets injured. It's very, very hard for any team, frankly, to survive that. 888 say ESPN. That's where Pete is. He's calling us from Oregon. Pete, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am not surprised by the Cardinals.
Okay, why?
They have, I'll give you a little background. They're the oldest pro franchise, first established in 1898. The Bidwells have owned them since 1931, and in all that time they've only won one title. And I just wonder if they know what the hell they're doing. Just because you got the money doesn't mean you got the brains to use it.
Thanks for the call, Pete. I mean, that's true. You always have to question that, Zaz, when it's always the Monday after the regular season, all these coaches get fired, and then the question becomes, how confident are you in that organization that they're then going to make the right decision the next time when they didn't just make one a few years ago?
The more interesting part with the Cardinals is what are they going to do about Kyler Murray?
Right.
Because it kind of seems like that's maybe run its course as well.
And is that Jonathan Gannon's fault? And it's hard to know. It's very hard to know. Kyler Murray's one of those quarterbacks that at times has looked incredibly promising and at other times hasn't. And of course, in the caller before referenced the Call of Duty thing. I mean, there's all the other stuff obviously around Kyler. How much of that is just that Kyler isn't going to live up to those expectations ever? Or how much of that is that he's being mistreated essentially by not having competent coaching? I don't know.
No, it's obviously not Jonathan Gannon's fault, but also, 4-win season, 8-win season, 3-win season. No one's surviving that.
Right. And I don't know if that's obvious that it's not Jonathan Gannon's fault because, heck, how do we know? Maybe the right coach would come in and Kyler Murray all of a sudden would look like the next coming. I mean, that's the game we're playing in the NFL. It's largely a guessing game. So we'll see these organizations that have moved on from their coaches. At least they've got a little hope, I guess, moving forward. Maybe that's the solace that you can take in it. We'll continue to take your phone calls, 888 say ESPN. But let's talk about what happened last night, Zaz.
What a game.
Boy, did Week 18 end in a wild fashion. The Steelers, they rallied from a double-digit deficit in the first half. They prevailed in a back and forth fourth quarter. They lock up the 4 seed in the AFC. It all comes down to a kick. Jonathan Zaslow, a field goal. If Baltimore makes the field goal, the Ravens win. They're in the postseason. If they miss the field goal, the Ravens lose, and the Steelers all of a sudden find themselves there. That's exactly, of course, what ends up happening.
We also got to back up because the Steelers, they took the lead but they missed the extra point.
Right.
So it's 26-24. So the Steelers kicker, he's feeling terrible now.
He's feeling terrible.
Because the Ravens are going to drive down the field.
Some kicker was going to be devastated. That's what you knew. In that moment, right before that ball was snapped for that kick, what you knew is there was some kicker that was going to be crying at the end of that game, whether it was the Steelers kicker for missing the extra point, one of the best kickers in the game, or whether it was the Baltimore Ravens kicker stepping into a very difficult situation, a very young kicker there for the Ravens, taking over, of course, for Justin Tucker.
Now, was that also the part of the state, like which... I think it was the Pittsburgh side of it. Was the Pittsburgh side of the stadium the one that it's like a wind tunnel, right? It's really difficult on one of those ends of that stadium. I don't know which one it is, but I know one of those end zones is supposed to be like super difficult to kick.
Right, and I did hear some commentary too, like once the extra point was missed, then it makes sense that you're going to miss this 40-something yarder field goal. I mean, listen, kicking is not my expertise.
I'm an expert.
I don't know if it was the wind or if it was just shanking it, because boy, did that kick look shanked. But here we go. The snap looked fine. The hold looks fine. Here we go. This is always fun. Let's listen to the different local radio calls. Let's start with the Baltimore Ravens call.
This field goal attempt will decide the AFC North champion. Here's the snap. Here's the hold. Here's the boot by Loop. And that kick is no good. No good. It's wide right. No he good. Missed it. Loop missed it. And your Pittsburgh Steelers are AFC North champions.
Okay, that's definitely the Steelers call.
Okay, now I'm not sure, but I think that was the Steelers, right? I think they were happy.
It's so funny because I set it up thinking we were going to the Ravens call, and then
that
I was
was
like,
a swerve.
why are the voices so
confused
happy?
me. I'm so sorry.
That's okay, Rachel.
That's okay. That's a good swerve.
Well, at the end, he does say your Pittsburgh Steelers.
Dead giveaway.
Because I was like, man, this guy's really happy about missing.
He's putting on a really great face that his season's over.
So that was the very excited Pittsburgh Steelers call there.
No, but that's good. No, going to the winning call first is better because I like the sad call now.
Now you like the sad call. Yeah. All right, let's get to the sad.
Tyler Loop from 44 yards. Sees it on the line. Loop's kick is on the way. It is up. It is no good. He pushed it wide to the right. Time has expired. Has a Ravens season ended with such a gut-wrenching thud as a missed field goal? Wow. And the season is over for the Ravens.
It's so bitter. You just want to jump out the window. It's so bad.
That call courtesy of WDVE 102.5 FM. The other one was courtesy of WBAL AM 1090.
And the play-by-play guy, he tried to drag it out, okay? Because if you're watching that game, you know immediately he missed it.
Yes.
And the color guy had to jump it. I missed it. The play-by-play guy was trying to drag it out.
He was trying
not
to
even close.
No, it was not even close, which was such a bummer. The kicker, he's crying after the game.
I felt
He's a young kicker. I mean, nobody enjoys that. Coming up next here on Amber and Ian Zaz filling in, the Falcons are blowing it up. We'll get to that. We'll head to Atlanta right here on ESPN Radio.
Hey, what's happening? It's Q Myers from Game Night here on ESPN Radio. Coming up on the show tonight, there's a handful of head coaching jobs now open across the National Football League. So which ones are the most attractive and which ones are the least desirable? Join me, Q Myers, and Emmett Golden for Game Night starting at 10 p.m. Eastern here on ESPN Radio and the all-new ESPN app.
College football moment is brought to you by Serve Pro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. Like on October 2nd, 1993, when the University of California faced a 30-0 halftime deficit to Oregon. Cal went on a remarkable 42-11 run in the second half to capture a 42-41 victory, one of the largest comebacks in college football history.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
Progressive presents the Passionate Sports Fan Checklist. Signed jersey of your favorite bench warmer? Check. 14 bobbleheads that look nothing like the players they're emulating? Check. Twin TVs so you can watch the game on 2 different networks simultaneously? Check. Life-size wall sticker of your favorite player that routinely freaks you out at night? Check. A second life-size wall sticker so after the first one freaks you out, you see the second and you're like, oh right, the wall stickers. Check and mate. Bundle your renters and auto insurance with Progressive and save on protection for the things on your checklist. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers not available in all states or situations covered subject to policy terms.
Like most Montanans, we love a good steak. And because we're the Montana Club, we take the steaks we serve very seriously. We're confident to say that our custom grilled steaks are as good a steak as you're going to get. Now we're proud to add regularly sourced, naturally raised Castle Rock bison ribeye to our selection. And remember, the Montana Club steak entrees include the sides. Come into the Montana Club today for an unrivaled steak experience. The Montana Club on Brooks and North Reserve, Missoula.
Did you know lifestyle changes can cut your risk of type 2 diabetes in half? Make a change this new year. The Diabetes Prevention Program, a national CDC initiative, helps you build lasting habits in nutrition, activity, and stress management. And it works. Smoking and vaping also increase your risk for diabetes and heart disease. Get help at quitnowmontana.com or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Join the Diabetes Prevention Program at Missoula Public Health. Call 406-880-5344 to register.
Winter is coming, and your garage door is your first line of defense against the chill. Wayne Dalton Sales and Service is offering a top and side seal winterization package to help increase security and keep your garage warmer. Visit wayne-dalton.com/Missoula for more info and to book your winterization today. Wayne Dalton's garage door winterization ensures your door is prepped and protected for the cold months ahead. Call Wayne Dalton Sales and Service today at 406-510-1899 or visit wayne-dalton.com/Missoula.
Start the new year off warm and worry-free. Missoula winters can be tough on your home. When pipes freeze, water heaters struggle, or your furnace won't keep you warm, you don't want to wait. At Garden City Plumbing and Heating, certified technicians bring nearly 4 decades of trusted plumbing, heating, and HVAC services to homes and businesses across western Montana. From emergency repairs to installations and seasonal maintenance, they keep your systems running smoothly all winter long. Call or schedule online today because comfort in the new year starts at home with Garden City Plumbing and Heating.
Canby Tap House is well known around the Garden City for its peerless selection of draft beers. Breakfast at Canby is also worth a sterling reputation. From breakfast burritos to chicken fried steak to delicious daily specials, Canby Tap House has excellent breakfast for your weekend brunch appetite. Canby also has a full coffee bar offering bold and delicious espresso and other specialty coffee drinks. Canby Tap House is family friendly and conveniently located on Higgins, across from South Campus Stadium and Dorn Blazer Field. Come enjoy the best breakfast in town at Canby Tap House.
Are you a sports fan who loves to win? Get in on the action with SportsBet Montana. Bet on collegiate and professional baseball, football, hockey, basketball, and more, all while keeping the money right here in Montana. It's easy and secure on our kiosks and mobile app. Head to your favorite SportsBet Montana retail location to catch the game, place your bets, and celebrate your wins. SportsBet Montana. Learn more at sportsbetmontana.com.
Titans' teams looking for coaches. Vegas fired Pete Carroll. Cardinals dismissed Jonathan Gannon and Kevin Stefanski out in Cleveland. Bet Browns vacancy, not great, according to ESPN Browns reporter Daniel Oyefusi.
They have the number 6 overall pick and as well as an extra first-round pick for the Jaguars, which will be somewhere in the 20s probably. But that's not really prime position to maybe target a quarterback. You know, you have some quarterback maybe teams in front of them. You still have the Deshaun Watson situation lingering over the franchise, and they don't have a no-doubt surefire starting quarterback.
Daniel on Unsportsmanlike. Watson with the $230 million fully guaranteed contract has played just 19 games for Cleveland. The Rams expect to have receiver Devontae Adams back from a hamstring injury for the NFC wildcard game against the Panthers Saturday. He last played in Week 15. Mike McDaniel said he'll remain the head coach of the Dolphins and will be part of the team's interview process for its next GM. He also confirmed there will be a quarterback competition in 2026.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Cannon. Coming up Tuesday, which teams will be in my top 5 power rankings heading into the playoffs? Find out at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting that Atlanta has fired head coach Raheem Morris after 2 seasons.
When you show some signs that you are improving, if a guy is showing that this team is buying into him, and especially pros, in this day and age, you keep that guy at least for another season.
The Falcons now are going to go on to their 5th coach in the last 11 years. Within a 12-year span, you have 5 different head coaches. That is not a way to run a successful football organization, period.
The Atlanta Falcons Rams just finished their 8th straight losing season. That is tied for the longest streak in franchise history. The other one came in the 1980s. The last 2 of those seasons have been under Raheem Morris. He is no longer the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. They're moving on from the head coach. They're moving on from the general manager. And we are moving on to Atlanta. Let's bring in John Michaels from Atlanta. Of course, you can hear him on 680 The Fan in Atlanta and around here on ESPN Radio. And John, thanks so much. Let's just start with the Raheem Morris news. Were you surprised? Was anybody there surprised? Because he did win the final 4 games of the season. So I know there was this sentiment that maybe he would be able to keep his job.
Yeah, I was. We were actually at the game yesterday, and kind of the sentiment leaving the stadium was, well, the precedent's been set in Atlanta for many years that coaches are going to get an extra year if they show that they've made any kind of momentum towards going the right way. I go back to 2019, or maybe it was 2018. That was 2019. Dan Quinn, same way, finished the season on like a 4-game winning streak, and Mr. Blank, Arthur Blank, said, hey, we're going to bring him back for the next year. The problem was you started the following year 0-5. You then fired Dan Quinn. You had an interim coach. His name happened to be Raheem Morris. He went 0-5 during the season. You fired him, and then you brought in Arthur Smith. So surprised, absolutely. Was it the right move? I think it was as well. I don't want to fall into a false narrative that you won 4 games down the stretch, won them against the Saints. Who cares that you beat them? Yeah, you beat the Rams. That was a really, really nice win. But you lost to the Jets, who lost every subsequent game after that by 20-plus points. You lost to the Dolphins when Tua Tagovailoa had a black eye and couldn't see and came out and played the best game ever. And you got shut out by the Carolina Panthers when the season was on the line. So it was the right move, but I was surprised, especially as swiftly as they moved yesterday afternoon.
They hired Raheem Morris over even talking to Belichick, right?
Yeah. So, well, they talked to Belichick, and Zaz, my understanding on that was Belichick wanted to come in and clean out the front office, and that was everybody. General manager, team president, bring his guys in, and everything that we got from this was there were people inside the front office who had Arthur Blank's ear that told him, hey, maybe this isn't the right move. And it probably wasn't the right move to bring Bill Belichick in. We see the disaster that's been at North Carolina. But the organization needed a cleanse. They needed to get rid of some of the people inside the front office. Rich McKay was moved out of football today, even though they told us 2 years ago he was out of football as well. So maybe this is the organizational reset that they needed about 3 seasons ago.
Is there any chance that Bill Belichick would be part of that reset this next go-around?
He bet, and I'm going to steal a phrase from our show here in Atlanta, he bet not be part of that. I don't want no parts of Bill Belichick. I saw that disaster at North Carolina, the PR hit with Jordan Hudson running around, and no, I don't think he's going to be a part of it. I've heard Matt Ryan's name announced very prevalently today that he may be brought in the football operations side, and then they've got 2 consulting firms, because Lord knows when you have $1 billion business, you got to go hire outside and bring some consulting firms in to interview different head coaches.
It always cracks me up, Zaslow, because the consulting firms always end up coming up with the same names that me and you could come up with from our couches.